What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So the $1 million question is, will Kawhi be ready for the first round matchup against the Mavericks? And the uncertainty around Kawhi is kind of weird, honestly. So this would be the third time, the trilogy of the Mavs Clippers in a playoffs in the first round, I might say, which is kind of crazy all on its own. But at the same time, it's what a lot of people wanted to see, especially a lot of Mavs fans. They definitely think the team they have now can definitely challenge the Clippers a lot more and possibly knock them off. And when we look at both teams on paper and how they've played in their own respective rights throughout the season, it's going to be an awesome series. You heard me say that in the last Friday's videos. It's going to be an awesome series. I prefer to go 5, but I really do believe it's going 7. And, the uncertainty around Kawhi, as I said, is so crazy because Ty Lue is saying that, oh, yeah, we hope he plays. We hope he's ready. We think he'll be ready. He should be, basically all these probability type statements he was given the last few days about Kawhi's status. But, when you look at when the Clippers, when you look at the Clippers, exit games as a team when they go down the tunnel and you see Kawhi Leonard walking with the team like everything is fine. I've looked at those videos several times. I've seen Kawhi looking fine. He didn't look concerned. And, it really doesn't look like too much concern around the organization right now. And, based upon, that type of atmosphere when you watch them and everything like that, it just doesn't seem like everybody's too concerned about it. And Ty Lue said there's really not much concern about it. More than likely, to me, the worst case scenario, hopefully this would only be the worst case scenario, is that he might likely miss game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. Now, I still think it's a great chance he's probably actually going to play in game 1 of the playoffs because with the inflammation in his knee, the inflammation was there and started about almost a week and a half ago or something like that, maybe even 2 weeks at this point. So, when we think about 2 weeks ago, all the way until the 20th, I believe, of this month here, it's more like that'll be almost 17 to 20 days of rest that he's had on that knee. That's had time. That's time for the inflammation to go down, the swelling. If there's any swelling still, that's time for him to start working on the knee. That's time for him to start, exercising a little bit more, getting some reps in, maybe playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, not really doing too much contact at the moment, but even still, he might actually still be doing contact as well because, like I said, the inflammation, the swelling probably went down by now, hopefully. And like I said, he's back out there probably practicing with the team more or less. If not, he might be doing, 4-on-4s or something like that, 3-on-3s. And then, maybe by, the start of this week here, by the end of this week here, or midweek here or whatever the case may be, he might actually be getting revved with the team and everything. So it's when we think about the time frame, it's really going to align very well for him to enter the first game of the playoffs against the Dallas Mavericks because of, like I said, the 17, 20 days he's had off, because the Clippers got the 4th seed. Paul George is taking off games. Pretty much all the starters took off last night's game or yesterday's game, which they should have. So they'll be ready to go when it comes time for the first round of the playoffs. And I definitely believe, personally believe that Kawhi Leonard will be there the first game of the playoffs. But bare minimum, I think he might, it's a possibility he might miss the first game of the playoffs and come in the second, but I definitely think he's going to be there the first game because, like I said, the Clippers have been known to kind of do these things before. Now, the last time they did do this, it was worse news than what we expected, with the Kawhi Leonard situation, but I don't think that's the situation this time. I think it's more like, the Clippers playing a chess game. They could be playing a chess game in regards to letting the Mavs kind of overthink themselves by thinking, hey, we need to prepare like Kawhi is not going to be there, but we also need to prepare like he is going to be there. And sometimes when teams try to come up with 2 different game plans, sometimes they can get mixed up in the situation when they're on the floor and they can they tend to make mistakes. I've seen little chess moves that certain coaches, did like that in the past, and it threw other teams' momentum off because they really didn't know whether to prepare for who's to come in the lineup or who's supposed to play rather than who isn't. But I know Jason Kidd is probably actually going to prepare like Kawhi is going to be there, which more likely so that would be the right thing to do. But either way, it's a tough call. It's really a tough call. But like I said, my personal opinion, based upon the people I'm talking to and things like that, I would expect him to be there the first game. But I mean, of course, we have to see it actually in person, of course, for us to really actually know. But either way, I still think, the Clippers are the deeper team. And hypothetically, if he didn't come in the first game, I still think the Clippers can take game one. And honestly, I think the Clippers really just need to, grind and not try to make this a 200-plus scoring game. I think they really need to focus on their defense more and make teams respect them on the defensive end, where they can actually, make other teams, be subdued to what they do well on the defensive end, and then let their offense click off of that. Build your confidence off of what your defense is doing. And I think that's the mindset they really need to have, more so than just to go out there and outscore Dallas, because Dallas can put up points too. Dallas can put up a lot of points, actually. And, it's going to be hard to guard Luka and Kyrie, but like I said, it's going to be even harder to guard, everybody else on the Clippers also, because they got a lot of weapons that can go at you and attack you. And like I said, if Kawhi plays, which I believe he will play in game one, that's just a lot for Dallas to handle. It really is, because like I said, who on Dallas can guard Kawhi Leonard at all? I'm talking like a lot of people say that, Luka and Paul George can't guard, or Kawhi and Paul George can't guard Luka, but they can somewhat neutralize him a little bit because they have defensive superpowers. Who the hell on Dallas has any defensive superpower to stop a Kawhi Leonard or a Paul George if he decides to show up like he's supposed to, which I believe he will? Who on their team is any type of defensive stopper at all? I mean, to guard players of that magnitude. And that's what people are not really looking at. And that's the reason why I said, if the Clippers, if Kawhi comes out and if he plays, if he's right, he's healthy, the Clippers can beat them in 5 games. They really can. I just don't know if the Clippers will, because they seem to tend to lag against this team for some reason. They tend to kind of shag off or shy off from actually being aggressive defensively like we know they can, because I don't know what it is against the Mavericks. The Mavericks just seem to play the Clippers very well. And now that they got Kyrie Irving, you got another monster to really deal with. And hopefully the Clippers' game plan is more so on the defensive side than the offensive side, because, of course, you're not going to stop Luka and Kyrie. But if you can neutralize them some and neutralize them at times in the game to give your team the confidence and build momentum and to go on more runs than they go on, then, of course, you're going to win the game. More than likely, you're going to win the game. And if you can make some good defensive plays in the midst of that, well, you might win the game going away by 10, 15 points, which would be even better for the Clippers, because that'll set a tone for the series in game one that, hey, we're coming out here, we're looking to win, and we're not looking for anything else. And that's the mindset the Clippers better have. And like I said, if Kawhi is on the floor, I still need everybody to play with the same energy, because I've seen this team throughout this season, or at least the second part of the season anyway. When Kawhi is out there playing, sometimes the other guys just they play dispirited. Like, okay, we got Kawhi, he's going to do everything, so all we got to do is just go out there and jack up 3-pointers. That's not what the Clippers need to do. If they have that mindset, that can get them beat. Don't go out there and watch Kawhi Leonard do every little thing. Go out there and dive for loose balls yourself. Get nasty on the floor. Get nasty, with whoever you're defending. Get up in him. Play physical. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just feel like the Clippers, they sit there and watch Kawhi do everything because they know he can, and they know he can make all the defensive plays. He can make all the shots, and they kind of just, like I said, just stand around, do what they do, and just jack up 3-pointers because they know they got Kawhi Leonard to make up for their deficiencies. And that's not what they need to be thinking like if they're trying to win a championship. Everybody's got to be responsible for what every man is supposed to do while he's on the floor, and that's your job, because you're going against a team who wants to beat you because they haven't had an opportunity to beat you the last 2 times. And they want to make this one, one for them to remember. And I can tell you this much. The Clippers, if they go out there BSing, they could find themselves down 0-2 again in this series. And I can tell you, being down 0-2 against Dallas, this time with somebody like Kyrie on the team, along with Luka, is going to make it a whole hell of a lot harder to come back and win that series like you did last time when Kawhi, flipped the switch into God mode and had to do all that just for the Clippers to win it. And so I think, like I said, the Clippers play how they're supposed to, and Kawhi is healthy. They can win this in 5. I want them to win this in 5. I don't want this to go to 7 games because I always say a game 7 can go either way. And we all know they can because look what Kawhi did a few years ago against Philly. That game 7 shot. I mean, Kawhi is the only player in NBA history to hit a game 7 buzzer beater winning shot to win the series. He's the only player in history to ever do that. But crazy thing is, when you look at stuff like that, that's why I said game 7s are always dangerous. You don't want to put yourself in that predicament. Beat the team down, you know what I'm saying? Beat them to a pulp, stomp on them, and kill Dallas in 5 games and move on to the next opponent. That'd be the best thing. That's the mindset they need to have, and that's really what they just need to do.